This is not a story. This is what has happened. I was slapped very hard. I could not understand what was going on with me as I was the only living soul in the bungalow. Was it that I was actually slapped or I was just dreaming? Did I sleep while working on my laptop in the warmth of my bed or what? There was complete darkness and I was completing my presentation to be submitted tomorrow morning. The pain and heat emanating from my cheek was proof of something intriguing happening around me. Even before I could think of moving out of the bed, the other half of my old bed made a creaking sound as if someone had just turned side while sleeping. Each shred of my body was getting paralyzed. I was numb to the core. My heart was pounding and trying to come out of my mouth. The light had a playful nature in the city of Jammu. It would show for a little time and then hide. I was new to the city. Transferred only a week back. Fortunately, I got a big house on rent, away from the public gaze. At the dead end of the road, so it was not quite frequented. In front of the bungalow was a garden which looked more like a graveyard with long grass and a thatched hut perhaps made for some caretaker of the garden, who probably was never there. The chirping of crickets and howling of dogs were the only sounds that would offer me companionship in those dark, cold, mushy nights of December. Till the time I myself experienced it. I would only fancy horror to be inextricably associated with darkness, solitude, and unerring silence. Today my house was in darkness, but it was not still. It appeared as if someone was moving out there. Someone walking in soft pounding steps. Suddenly there was a whisper in the distant chamber of the room. An unearthly hand rises, opens the latch of the door, and leaves it open. Heavy drops of rain slithered along the side window, and the window panes started fluttering like the pages of a notebook. The strike of lightning revealed an unhuman figure moving in my room. A groan reverberated inside me but could not come out and died in the terrains of my throat. I was feeling suffocated with fear and pain. I salivated my dry throat and attempted to cry, but to no avail. I felt a core of metal piercing my throat and deeper into my neck. I gasped as it pressed against my neck, dilating my pupils as the shade of my face was turning from red to blue. Finally, I slumped onto the pillow that offered me some solace amidst excruciating pain and fear. I lost myself to sleep, thinking how long I will have to wait to escape this room. The clouds had left the sky for the morning sun to come. The clitter and clatter of raindrops had receded. The aroma of wetland had seeped up in the room, but it had a certain element of pungency to its character. The drapes were shut, lending shades of gray to the constituents of the room. A buoyant gloominess hung large in the room, along with fear and mystery that was etched on each brick of the room. I mustered the courage and collected myself from the bed. The other half of the bed's mattress was indented as if someone big and bulky had been sleeping there. I checked life in me by pinching my arm. Yes, I was alive. Now I got down from the bed and came in front of the mirror. Actually, there was an impression of a hand on my face. My groin was wet. Fierce psychosis was playing on my mind. What could this be? A halo of uncertainty hung in the air. I washed my face, changed my clothes, and without finishing the morning chores, I rushed to my office. The scene outside was quite different from what was happening inside those walls. The sky was powered with the most vivacious of colors. The morning dew had kissed the grass and rendered it wet. The mere cue of twitter of the birds and bees around changed the season of my heart from frozen cold to autumn. I collected my spirits and settled in office, trying to put a veil to my disturbed facade. I got engrossed in work. Everything was fine until the clock struck 6, and people started leaving for their homes. By each and every passing minute, I was getting more and more fixed in my chair. Another hour passed. The office boy, who was getting frustrated seeing me glued to the chair, came inside feigning his annoyance, asked me if he could leave. But the mere cue of staying alone gave me goosebumps. I packed for the day. I had to prepare my dinner and purchase sabzi, so I went towards the market. As I was doing my groceries, I noticed from the corner of my eyes the vendors were gesturing towards me and whispering something to each other which I couldn't make out. I realized I was just doing impulsive shopping, or maybe I was just killing time. It was 8:30 chilly December night, light could go any time. The shopkeepers started rolling down their shutters, and I was left with no choice but to leave for home. Slowly and with heavy steps, I started and reached home in 10 minutes. Opened the lock with throbbing heart and trembling hands, but nothing unusual appeared. I tried to distract myself by engrossing in chores, cooked dinner, did evening puja, and played Gayatri Mahamantra on my audio system. Time passed peacefully. I retired to my quilted bed. I was wondering if everything that happened last night was just my illusion. Suddenly there was a bell. Someone was on the door, and then a second bell. I felt like the last man on the earth, alone in the room, and suddenly there's a knock on the door. I opened the door, but there was none. Frustrated, I returned to my room. Just when I was thinking I had hit a rock bottom, I was standing up on another trap door. There was blood, hot blood on the floor. I touched my chest, expecting my heart not to be there anymore. But behold, I was alive. Stumbled, I stepped on something mushy. Yui. It was a huge rat cut into pieces, neck, body, and tail, cut neatly with a knife as if someone had savored cutting it. My room looked like hell, blood and pieces of rat splattered. I could not take it anymore. I ran out of the house and started vomiting. That chilly night I spent on the pavement. The next morning saw a different me. It was enough now. I got the place cleaned by a sweeper. My day passed in the office. In the evening I went straight to my home without any dilly-dallying, cooked meals, did evening puja, and then started chanting Panchastavi and slept. In the den of the night, when I was a little awake, I saw this young man in the early 20s, in white undershirt and pajamas, sleeping next to me. He had a blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, eyes of a devil. I passed out and gained senses only in the morning with the chirping of birds. Now my fight had begun. My fight with the unseen, unhuman, unearthly, unknown had begun. He had shown himself to me. Now I had to confront my fear and face it. As sitting late in the office is only my excuse or my way of fueling my fear, and only I could stop that. How I handle my fear would determine how I face so many other faceless challenges of life.